Jasprit Bumrah is one of India's long-standing servants in Indian cricket. He made his debut against Australia in 2016. It's been 10 years since he's played international cricket for India. He's represented India in almost all the ICC events that we play, and he's been the torchbearer of Indian bowling since the last 4 or 5 years, since Ishant Sharma and Umesh Yadav have sort of slowly phased out of the setup. But again, coming to the debut that he made, his first test wicket was AB de Villiers. His first IPL wicket was Virat Kohli. His first ODI wicket was David Warner. And I think his first T20I wicket was Steve Smith. Am I wrong? I whatever it was, but four big players as first wickets, and that just goes on to tell you how great a player he was going on to become. 2016 he made his debut, but before that he had been playing for the Mumbai Indians, known for his quirky, awkward action. Just bowls at 140, runs in, not even running, and he walks in, just takes a couple of steps in while running, and then he bowls 140 Ks while he was making his debut. Known for his Yorkers, Rehan, how has Jasprit Bumrah amazed you in the last 10 years?
I mean, nothing more iconic for him to have his debut against RCB. I mean, that is the best memory that I have of Jasprit Bumrah in these 10 years, because when you saw him bowl, it was very strange because nobody had such a unique action, and many would have laughed it off or must have written him off. I remember after his debut, even though he had picked up three big wickets rather, of Virat and AB de Villiers, I remember having a conversation with my friend and I told him that there is this bowler who has a very unique action. What is your take? And he literally laughed off, saying that he would get injured and that he'll not be remembered after a few games. And even after a decade, he's still the most relevant bowler in international cricket.
He is
That shows
not the
how,
most, he is the number one bowler, not the most relevant across formats.
yeah, I just have to make comparison with Mitch Stark. I'm sorry for that, but yeah, he is the number one. Let's agree to this because it's his time now, and I think you will know. He'll define the decade for bowling to come. That's for
Correct.
sure. The best thing about him, Naman, is that he is adaptable. If
Yes.
you look at his bowling action when he started off and you look at his bowling action now, he has immensely matured
Correct.
and he has brought changes into his game, and he has kept on improving from year after year. He's not the same as he was in 2015, 2016. He is, very cool and composed, even though he has bad days like normal cricketers, but he makes it a point to go back to the drawing board, and when he comes on to bowl he always says these lines that he always thinks about one ball at a time.
Correct.
That's the best way to break it down. And if you want to define his career, it's been inspirational. It's going to improve the bowling circuit of Indian cricket. You're going to see a lot more bowlers that are going to come up in the era of Virat and Rohit. There are people who actually want to go out and become Jasprit Bumrah.
I agree to that. And the positioning of Jasprit Bumrah in Indian cricket has changed over the last 3 4 years. But let's just go through year by year and understand how has he evolved. 2016 making his debut in the last ODI at Sydney. Against a peak Australian side, playing the three T20I matches, winning the 3-0, a brilliant start to his T20I career, playing the T20 World Cup at home, massive expectations. There were only two fast bowlers, that was him and Ashish Nehra, Hardik being the third pacer. Uh, a youngster to perform such like in such on such a massive scale against brilliant batsmen. I think the ball for me of the World Cup was the ball that he bowled to Chris Gale in the
Seriously.
2016 semi-final. I was there. Unfortunately, we didn't win. But again, the no balls and stuff did haunt him for a while, for a couple of years post that as well. We'll move on to that. But 2016 was a defining year for him, if you say, in my opinion. Let's move on to 2017, the Champions Trophy. Bhuvneshwar Kumar, Jasprit Bumrah, Hardik Pandya. Your ace bowlers, Shami has been one of the backups. But again, Jasprit Bumrah in the second year of his international cricket was considered as the lead bowler of India, even above Bhuvneshwar Kumar, who had been in the setup for more than 7 years. That speaks volumes about the talent that he had. But one thing that haunted him was the Champions Trophy no ball against Pakistan. But yeah, I think 2017 was the year when he decided to tweak things because he was not getting selected for the test team. 2018 was again an important year in Indian cricket in terms of Test cricket because you had three important away tours. 2018 started with South Africa. Midway through the year was five Test matches against England, and to wrap it up was the Australian tour where we won for the first time. Had it not been for Jasprit Bumrah's spell at the MCG with the slower ball yorker to Sean Marsh, I don't think we could have won that Test series. But again, first wicket, AB de Villiers in South Africa. In the third Test match at 2000, in the South Africa series, he picked up his first ever fifer in Test matches. Again, England tour, first two Test matches, he did not play. The next three games, he came and we won the first match that he played. And then after that, we went on to lose the other two. But again, all of that experience playing in Sena conditions, going into Australia, man, that series was something else. I'll let you define that series.
No, I mean it's going to be defined for Jasprit Bumrah because going into that series, we did not have our important players with us, and a lot of people outside cricket were actually uh, putting Australia as favorites, and they thought that the series we won previously in the BGT was a fluke. But first time was so good that we had to do it twice. And Jasprit Bumrah again being the spearhead in both those test series, he has actually been the standout bowler in foreign conditions for India. Uh, he has been lucky that way, Naman, because he has had the likes of Ishan Kishan, Bhuvneshwar Kumar. I'm sorry, I mean Mohammad Shami, Bhuvneshwar Kumar, and Ishan Sharma also, who has
Correct,
been there for quite some time. He has also played under the captaincy of Dhoni, Rohit, and Kohli.
correct,
So he knows how different captains work.
correct,
Uh, he has been grateful enough to have been surrounded by such a great team members that has helped to improve his game a lot. But without him, I don't see we would have won that series under
correct.
Ajinkya Rahane if it
Correct.
wasn't for Bumrah.
In between those 2 years as well, I think we missed out on something very important. That was his T20 ODI World Cup debut, the
2019, yeah.
2019 World Cup, where India was going to play in foreign conditions again in England. He was again India's trump card, picking up over 20 wickets across all the matches. India almost stayed undefeated until that game against New Zealand, but a brilliant learning curve for him because he was compared to Mitchell Stark at that time because Stark had been the highest ODI wicket taker in the 15 World Cup as well and in the 19 one as well. So comparisons were made. 19 was since his first ever World Cup. Brilliant performance, I would say. And then coming on to later that, even though we lost, I think the best phase of his life until 2019 was that West Indies series where he picked up the first ever hat trick for Team India in Test match cricket after Irfan Pathan, of course. But yeah, that if you remember that spell, I think that was the first time I had seen Jasprit Bumrah swinging the ball both ways and with such a potent bowling action. And I think one of the greatest ever West Indian fast bowlers mentioned that he's a brilliant bowler. And if he was there in their team in the 1980s, he would have taken the new ball with Malcolm Marshall, I think it was. So you just assume that a 26 or 27-year-old Jasprit Bumrah at that time was compared to people of that stature. And then
I
the
mean,
one
brilliant.
went,
I mean, with his action also, a
yeah,
lot of analysts were like, yeah, he can bring the ball in
correct,
because he has that action. But can he swing it away? And he showed that he has the abilities to swing the ball both ways. And then there were people who actually thought that his career would be short span or short lived
correct,
because of the injuries that would follow. But then he again proved them wrong. So my favorite trait about Jasprit Bumrah is that he likes to prove people wrong from time to time.
correct,
He likes to actually let actions speak louder than words. Uh, even if he's playing the IPL, even if he's playing test matches, whatever cricket that he is playing, he lets the ball do that work. The one very good thing about him, which I have already said in the video, is that he's adaptable.
yep,
He's very adaptable. I mean, you can expect him to actually bowl test match lines in T20s
correct,
and be in and get success. He's that kind of a bowler, and he reads the mind of the batsman really well.
correct.
The wicket that you defined of Sean Marsh, that was
Brilliant.
actually discussed with Rohit Sharma, I believe, and it was the
Yes,
last ball of lunch. And he came up with the idea that maybe if I could try a slower ball, maybe something could happen, and it did. So that's one simple example of how Bumrah has evolved as a bowler. Uh, he's been inspirational for sure. You're going to see a lot more bowlers come up after him.
I agree to that. And one thing that does symbolize his career was the year of 24. But that was the peak. Obviously, we both know that was the peak of his career. Maybe we do not see that kind of a year from Bumrah again, given his fitness struggles. But let's move before we talk about 2024. Let's talk about the phase post the Australia tour in 21 to the until the 2023 World Cup. India did play five away test matches versus England. He was almost made to play all the test matches. He was used spell after spell to pick up wickets, not a lot of support, which led to an injury after the 2021 T20 World Cup where we had lost. He had to miss the 2022 T20 World Cup with that issue. So he was sidelined for more than a year, which all of us almost assumed that, or we were at least thinking that had we seen the last of Jasprit Bumrah in Indian colours, or maybe the peak of Jasprit Bumrah had ended and he would just be an ordinary bowler. But he just returned in the nick of time for the 2023 World Cup at home. He played the Asia Cup, got match fit, and then he legit had been India's best bowler throughout the 23 World Cup. If you keep aside Mohammad Shami of that 2023 World Cup, he was India's second best bowler. But I mean, 2023 was so close for him. He was playing the final at his home ground in Ahmedabad. He had been India's lead bowler throughout that World Cup. He did pick up the important wickets of Steve Smith and Mitchell Marsh as well in that finals, but India fell this short of an ICC title. He had been so close to winning in 2017 as well, but that no ball haunted him. The 23 home defeat haunted him as well. Now let's move on to 24. The best year of his career. Let's talk about the T20 World Cup. The spell against India in the match of India versus Pakistan, the spell where he got Babar Azam out, he got Iftikhar Ahmed out, and the wicket of Mohammad Rizwan, which was, in my opinion, the turning point of that match. No other bowler could have done it apart from Jasprit Bumrah.
Game changer, absolute game changer, in the golden words of Mohammad Siraj. But yeah, that tournament actually is defined by him. He was the player of the tournament. Correct me
Correct.
if I'm wrong.
Yes.
In fact, actually, I'll make this statement. Might get a lot of Virat fans a little angry, but for me, he was the
Correct.
player of the match in the final
Agreed.
also.
Obviously, no doubt.
Because I think 29 was required in 30 balls, and
Yes.
from there we have actually gone on to win. It's all courtesy to Jasprit Bumrah. Otherwise, we would have seen South Africa actually win the World Cup, because I thought the match was over there and there itself.
Correct.
But to bowl that spell, and I remember the wicket of Marco Jansen. Uh,
Yes.
I think it was the 17th or the 16th over,
18th over, yeah.
for a ball to actually come back in of that angle. That
Hmm.
was a brilliant delivery, and that goes on to show that how determined he was to win the game for India. Um, it's like over in gold when you are a captain of the team. You have Jasprit Bumrah. You are so uncertain when I can use Bumrah. It's very difficult because in T20s you only get to bowl 4 overs, and 1 over can actually define the game.
Correct.
You can lose. It's a make or break situation. But the way Indian captains throughout the years have been using Bumrah, it's quite different, because each captain has its own approach. If
Correct.
you look at IPL, how Rohit Sharma has used him, it's been very different. He has not actually used him much in the power play,
Hmm.
but whereas you saw Dhoni actually use him for an over in the power play, that is when you got to see the wicket of Chris Gayle, which you will always remember.
Correct.
But 2024 World Cup was a crucial year for him. He actually helped India win the World Cup and fix the mistakes that he did in the past in 2016 and 17. But
Correct.
yeah, that doesn't define him. What defines him is that his contribution to Indian cricket.
And obviously, when you mention Jasprit Bumrah, post the T20 World Cup win, he was tagged as India's national treasure by none other than Virat Kohli, who is again India's national treasure. So that goes on to just show the amount of belief that any captain he's playing for would have in him. Anytime you want to change the momentum of the game, your eyes just see and search for Jasprit Bumrah. There's a moment in his life where when he was not performing, other captains were looking for solutions, and they did not have anyone to turn to if there was no Mohammad Siraj or Shami in the side. So that just shows how much reliance as a team, as a nation, we have on Jasprit Bumrah. Now, enough said about the T20 World Cup. I think the golden phase of his life was that spell against Australia at Perth in the first test match of the Border Gavaskar Trophy. I think that could be the defining moment of his entire career as well. That entire series, he picked up around what, 31, 32 wickets. He picked up more wickets than Rohit Sharma scored runs on that tour. But yeah, something else. But again, uh, picking up wickets, coming in different situations with the old ball, with reverse swing, with the new ball, and everything, out swing, in swing, bouncer, yorker, having every weapon in his arsenal. That's something that makes him the best ever bowler to have played for India in this generation. And if you see the stats right now, I'm just looking at his stats right now. His bowling career, he has picked up more than 200 wickets in test matches at an average of 19.79. There has been no other bowler in test cricket history who has more than 200 wickets and an average under 20. He's beaten the West Indian greats as well. So I think you can term him as a test match great or greatest ever bowler as well. But I think he has a few more years in him before we can give him that title. And I think he still has a bit of more peak to achieve before he retires. What's your take on that, Rehan?
100%. I mean, that World Cup 2027, that would
Correct.
be in his vision for sure. He would want to make that tournament his own and show the world that he has been there for a long time. He has been dominating oppositions. That will actually be a cherry on top of the cake because he's won the T20 World Cup. Champions Trophy also. What is missing is that World Cup. As much as Rohit and Virat want it, I think there is no other player who wants it more than Jasprit Bumrah.
Correct.
So yeah, so I mean that hunger to win is always there with him. You associate that when he plays, even in the IPL, he has that knack of championships, putting his hand up and bowling the difficult overs. So World Cup is what he would be looking at. He would be also looking at another ICC Test Championship
Correct.
for sure. He puts Test matches in high regards, and you can see his stats that show you how well he has done. So yeah, there is a long way to go. He is in his peak. I can definitely say that. Just that we hope that he is fit enough to continue till 2027.
29. 27
At
finals
least
they're not making. Yeah.
let
Go
him
on.
play the World Cup.
Yes, let's not jinx anything in regards to that. But Rehan, before we close, uh, two things I'd like to ask you. One, uh, use one word to summarize Jasprit Bumrah in your imagination. And second is, whenever someone mentions Jasprit Bumrah, what's the first thing that comes to your mind in terms of cricket, strictly related to cricket?
I mean, adaptable. I know it's a very simple word when we use it for someone as great as Bumrah, but the thing is that bowlers become irrelevant after a period of time because uh, what skills they bring in. A very simple example could be someone like a Mujibur Rahman from Afghanistan. When he came to the stage, we thought that there is a mystery bowler who will dominate and be a bowler to reckon for years to come. I mean, he is still a decent bowler, but when you don't adapt to cricket, you become irrelevant. And Jasprit Bumrah has defined the odds. Uh, and when people talk to me about Bumrah, the only thing that comes to my mind is that anything is possible. For a player to come up from the ranks uh, through Mumbai Indians and to prove it on the world stage, I mean, he is fantastic.
Which is the best bowl that is bowled according to you in across all formats?
It's again very difficult to pick. I believe that one ball he bowled in the West Indies Test match to Darren Bravo, it was, where he moved the leg stump.
Correct.
I mean, that wicket was cartwheeling. It was probably the best ball that I've seen.
I agree. For me, one word that I associate with Bumrah is generational. No other bowler in this generation comes even close to him. One thing that I associate with Bumrah is his ability to uh, adapt across different formats. Maybe today's 26th, he'll be playing an ODI game. 30th, he'll be playing a test match. And the 5th of February, he'll be playing a T20 game. And he has the ability to be man of the match in all the three games that he plays. The one ball that I think defines his career for me was that LBW wicket of Steve Smith, which was his last wicket in the 23 World Cup. It gave me a lot of hope. I was sitting in that stadium. I saw the entire stadium erupt. It was 43 for 3. Although it was not out, I think after the reviews did show that uh, the ball was, the impact was outside of. But I mean, the celebration, the team, the eruption, the atmosphere in the crowd, that's something that I'll always hold on to in my life. Despite the result, the amount of faith that every Indian did show in him in that match. I remember there was a phase where Labuschagne and Travis Head were going all guns blazing, and there was no way to stop. Rohit Sharma looked only for 1%, despite Shami being the wicket taker for that entire championship. He looked for Bumrah. He gave his ace bowler 3 overs. He asked for 1 wicket. He almost delivered. He bowled a peach of a yorker to Labuschagne, but the umpire did not give it out. We took a review. It was umpire's call. Had it been out that day, I don't know what would the result of that match would have been. But the 2023 World Cup final could have also been a Jasprit Bumrah moment because he had already picked up 2 wickets. So anything can happen with Bumrah. I hope that he plays for at least another 5 to 6 years, represents India in the 2029 Champions Trophy that is at home, and then maybe retire from T20 and ODIs. But he still has a lot of years in him. That's what I think. Hopefully, there is no other controversy surrounding him going forward if he decides to skip a couple of test matches. I think a player of his quality and his caliber knows when he has to perform, when he needs to play. So let's just leave everything to him. And we hope that 10 years down the line, when Slip Gordon is a big page, big name, we have him on our channel to celebrate 20 years of his international career. Thank you, Jasprit Bumrah. Bye.